Welcome to a lesson with Dr. Powell. Let's talk about some things that we can do with power series. One, a power series is kind of like a function, kind of like a graph of a function even, with an axis of indices. It's kind of like the x-axis, like an index of 1, 2, 3, 4. For instance, maybe we have a sum that starts like this, n equals 2 and goes off to infinity. And maybe we have something like n plus n squared, and all of this is like x to the n or something like that. Okay, now what if we want to shift some things around? For instance, we want to reindex this series, maybe to start at n equals 1. How would we do that? Well, if we think about it, so our indices are like shifting to the left here, like on this axis from 2 to 1. How do you note a shift of to the left of 1? If this is like a function, this is like the outputs, we simply think of n like x, and well, except this is the x now, but n is like is what's changing with the indices. So if we shift the index 1 to the left, then we replace all of our n's with n plus 1, just as you would in a function if you were shifting to the left 1. Just like that. Okay. What about if we're shifting to the right? What if we want to shift something to the right too? Like if we have like n equals 0, but we want to rewrite this as n equals 2. What would we do? Okay, so let's suppose we have in this case like 2 to the n, x to the n minus 1. Okay, or n plus 1, sorry, n plus 1. Then what would we do? Well, we'd replace n everywhere with n minus 2. So this would now be 2 to the n minus 2, x to the n minus 2 plus 1, so n minus 1. Same way as we would for functions. That's how we can reindex things. This is often useful in differential equations or something when we want to get all of our power series looking like x to the n when we have different things like this going on. So we'd have to, like, for instance, this one right here, we'd have to shift to get to x to the n. We'd have to shift it 1 to the we have to shift it 1 to the left in order to get it down 1 to the left in order to make this x to the n, because that would be a replacement of n plus 1 to make this n, which would mean we'd be going to the left 1, so we'd be starting at 1. So this would be, so n plus 1 in here would make that an, so that's 2, sorry, a 2, and then we'd have an n minus 1. Here we'd have an x to the n. So that's how we could take this and change it to something with an x to the n in it. Okay, thanks for watching.